Hi trader, welcome to AUDUSD Markets. This is Chris with a weekly overview of the Forex market. We take a look at these currency pairs, but first of all be aware that this video is intended for a global audience and may not be suitable for everyone. Find out more information and details and conditions at AUDUSmarketsglobal.com. Select your country of residence and contact an appropriate entity. Also, trading foreign exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. This video is for informational and educational purposes only, and by continuing watching this video, you agree with this disclaimer, and you are aware of the risk involved when trading foreign exchange. Okay, starting off with the dollar-yen daily chart, I see a break of this support trend line, and of course that was used as a resistance spot, a bouncing spot for more downside. So is this a downtrend, this momentum going to continue? For the moment, I do see a strong bounce. I don't see a break of this bottom. So there's a good chance that price can make another rally here to retrace that downside. So if we put a fib on this, you can see first price stopped around the 61.8 fib. And we've had about 4, 5, 8 days not breaking this bottom. So if I zoom into the lower time frame here, to the 4-hour chart, what I see is the triangle. And if it does break the resistance, I think there is that chance for price to basically retrace higher, perhaps go up to the target. If I put a fib from here to here, the minus 270 target about 23, that could be a breakout trade to the upside. Right? Just because we had momentum to the downside doesn't mean that that trend has to continue. That resistance line, I think, could be a good indication about a rough idea where that zone is, an important resistance zone. And if that breaks, a bullish breakout could occur. Now, the opposite is true, in my opinion, also the support line. If that breaks, there could be indeed a continuation of the previous bearish momentum down to in towards, for instance, the 61.8 fib, towards the 78.6, the 88.6 fib. Those would be Fibonacci targets to the downside. Price has already stopped, as you can see, roughly at 38.2 fib, roughly at the 50 fib. So yeah, the next Fibonacci levels would be targets as well. So those are breakout potentials of this triangle on the dollar yen for this week. Before I take a look at the other currency pairs, be aware that we have a great lineup of webinars. We got Nanet's weekly FX recap tonight and Monday. Wednesday, he's going to take a look at daily routine and plan B. Tuesday, I'm going to take a look at Fibonacci and waves and strategy on Wednesday. And together on Thursday, we take a look at trade management in Forex. And that is something that is often overlooked and not emphasized enough. So I hope to see you in that webinar for sure. Moving over to the euro-dollar weekly chart. Of course, 2 weeks ago we had this massive bearish candle. Last week was again a bearish candle well, but of course we're still not below this trend line. This isn't a trend line, and I think 1.8 support level here is still a very important horizontal support. This level, this bottom. Now, if that breaks, we could be, the euro-dollar of course could be in a bigger downtrend continuation. We had this momentum. This looks like a big consolidation zone. And if we break through support, we could see the continuation of that downtrend. A catalyst of that downtrend could, for instance, be a US interest rate hike. But looking at the number of people expecting that this month, they're shrinking basically as we go along each month. So not many expect that this month. So if we don't get an interest rate hike, then will this support break? Perhaps not. So that is an important and interesting question that will be answered this month. Will this euro-dollar downtrend continue in the long term? And for me, the key levels are the green trend line and the purple here or the pink horizontal level. When those levels break, there is a good chance of a downtrend continuation. If they don't break, perhaps they could still provide support and provide that bigger consolidation that we could see maybe in the next month. So important level. Looking at the daily chart, price has been trending down on the 4-hour chart. I can see that a bit better even. Look at the downtrend. And, well, I would still say that besides the 108 and this green trend line, I think this 110 bottom here, very important. It is a bottom and also a psychological round level, obviously. So if I zoom into the 4-hour chart, I think that when looking at this plus the recent bottom at 109, 1090, could lead to one more fall to retest the 110 level. And that could be a bouncing spot zone here. That break could lead to a fall. A 111, right? Perhaps a bit more retracement going on. If I look at the 1-hour chart, break of this 111 You could see price go up to the 50 and the 61.8, which still could be very important resistance like this line. So there is a lot of resistance above this zone. And if price does make the break to the upside, I'm more interested in finding a downtrend continuation from those levels than trading into the upside break. All resistance line, then a bigger breakout to the upside could occur and a bullish break. From this point of view, I think the orange trend line, the green trend line indicating the triangle, a break above orange, breakout, break below green, a bearish breakout. And in between those levels, I would say if price does move higher, that could still be resistance. If price does, then I would say one intermediate support. And on the longer term, I'm looking at these levels 108 and this trend line 40 and weekly support. On USD, now looking at an hourly chart, beautiful downtrend channel, very well balanced, and the price is still relatively close to the bottom of that channel. So personally, I would like to see price actually, in a way, make a bit of a retracement here, preferably to the top of that channel, and that could be a very sweet spot here for that downtrend to the next target at 151.25, and perhaps even lower eventually down to 150, the minus 161.8. So good downtrend. I like that potential for downside continuation, but now pretty close to the downtrend bottom, and would like to see it retrace back to the top, or at least back to perhaps this bottom here, 152.25, to get a bit more space for the next fall and to get a bit more space for the target. All right, so that looks interesting. If I look at the 4-hour chart, you can see nice continuation, and the weekly chart is an interesting chart just because of the fact that look at last week's candle, the low basically here, very near the close, and that is a strong candle pushing through this weekly support level. That could be a good indication of a strong downtrend to continue here on the pound dollar. So also putting a fib on this weekly candle here, and just looking for retracement, for instance, to the 23.6 or the 38.2 fib. Doesn't have to be a deep retracement. Like 152.25, like 152.60 could be enough for this candle to retrace and then fall again to lower levels like the 151 and 150. Next one on the list is the AUDUSD 1-hour chart. Same thing like the pound, in a downtrend channel, but close to the bottom. So would like to see price actually go back to the top of that channel for a continuation of this downtrend with targets well around the minus 61.8 at 68.75, around 68.50, which perhaps on a higher time frame could be a bouncing spot, or the minus 100 target at 68. So those are potentials for downside, but would like to see price make a bit of a retracement here to the top channel for the downside. When looking at the weekly chart, perhaps we see that the strong weekly candle, just like the pound dollar, so retracement to the 23.6 or the 38.2 that week candle, interesting retracement and resistance level or zone for that further continuation of the downtrend. You can see week by week this downtrend has continued. Look at this weekly candles. You can see that only a few candles were bullish, the rest were all bearish. And actually, last week's candle was the biggest. If you look at the size of that weekly candle last week, it actually shows an acceleration, in fact, compared to the size of the weekly candles before that. So a good confirmation of the downtrend, I would say. And therefore wouldn't expect necessarily a very deep retracement. I mean, the 38.2 fib is around 70 level as well. So from that point of view, I see clear skies for the downtrend to continue after maybe some retracement. And this could be an interesting pair to keep an eye on. Of course, there are interest rate announcements this week, by the way, on the pound, the British pound, and the Kiwi, the New Zealand dollar. Also, the Bank of Canada, by the way, has the same thing in an overnight rate plus statement. And of course, on Monday, there's a bank holiday in the US and Canada. So something to be aware of and something to be cautious of. So hope to see you in the webinars. Make sure to take a look at Admiral Markets in the social media with great content being delivered through these vehicles, basically. And wish you all happy hunting and good trading. Cheers.